Let's see.
Did you start the recording?
I did. I did start the recording. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Okay, good. Well, Guy, you're back, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, we can't. Right? Okay, so we'll call the meeting to order. Thank you, everybody. We'll try this again. It worked last month, but it takes a lot of challenge. So let's remember our etiquette. So, actually, before we say hello to our guests, Maureen, do you want me to read that narrative again?
If you have it, that's great. I don't have it.
I don't have
I
it.
didn't prepare. Well, it's announced that it's a remote meeting only, and the access was online on the agenda. Access information was given for both video and telephone access, and that this is the Conservation Commission meeting of Tuesday, December 8th, 2020.
And the meeting is being recorded. So, and the etiquette that I mentioned before is just try to remember to wait a turn, if you so to speak, to speak. And because people's, at least on here, I see people their video drops in and out. Just say who you are when you're mentioning something for the recording as well. Okay. So the meeting has been called to order. We have some guests. I know one is Stacy Clark for the race, the road race, and then we have is that another Karen? Karen?
Yes, I'm trying to connect with the camera.
I'm sorry?
This is Karen Prado.
And you're from?
I'm sorry, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me okay?
Faintly.
Connecticut Trail Mixers.
Oh, okay. Hi, Joe.
Karen's with me from Connecticut Trail Mixers.
Oh, okay. And you guys are right next to each other on my box anyway, so that's good. So we're going to let you guys go first because we like to let our guests go first so that you don't have to sit through the rest of our meeting. So you're going to present your Run Ragged event. And for those who might not remember or were not here, you did it 2 years ago, right? Last year it didn't happen, but the year before I think it did, right? So
Yes.
We have a little bit of experience, but if you wouldn't mind starting over again for everybody's sake and, as if we are not familiar with what's going on. Tell us what you would like to do.
I'm Stacy Clark from Connecticut Trail Mixers, and Karen Prado, as she introduced herself, is with me tonight. I'm echoing a lot, so if I sound funny.
Yeah, somebody have a speaker on or?
If I can just remind everybody, mute your phone, it would be really good.
Okay. Let's see if that feedback changes. I don't hear an echo anymore. Can you hear me?
You still do have the echo.
Can you hear me? No.
Whoa. How about everybody try muting unless you're speaking. In this case, it would be Stacy. I think we're getting the reverberation from everybody's speakers, maybe.
Okay. Oh. Can you hear me? No.
Right. Karen, everything's echoing, huh? Maureen, are you hearing the same thing? Actually, I didn't hear an echo on that.
Oh, you probably didn't hear me. Yes, I am hearing the echo. I was muted.
Can you guys hear me okay?
I have Karen as having her speaker on. Can you mute yourself?
Oh my God.
Shall we all try logging off and logging on again?
Okay.
Rob, I think there's a couple people that aren't muted.
Yeah.
Is every,
Karen T,
everybody
I don't
muted?
think you're muted.
Can you hear me?
But it looks like everybody might be muted now.
You sounded all right on that one. Do you hear an echo for me?
No, it's fine now, Michael.
Okay, so maybe that's the key, is maybe to mute unless it's your turn to speak, I guess. All right, so everybody's going to mute and we're going to let Stacy rip, okay?
Thank you, guys. So Karen and I are from Connecticut Trail Mixers, and we're asking for permission to put on a last man standing type race, last person standing type race. And it goes through the trails of Ragged Mountain Preserve. And we have experience doing this. We come from 1 year in a preparation of the second year that never happened last year. But we would go through the blue, red, blue, orange, blue, yellow, and blue trail systems to make a 5K loop. And every hour on the hour, a person would have to complete a 5K loop. They can take as long or short as they want, as long as they complete that trail loop every hour. We're aiming for the last weekend of May 29th to 30th, because it probably will be an overnight event. The police department and fire department last year or 2 years ago were on site. They worked very closely with us to ensure our safety. Having experience with trail maintenance and preservation, we only have our participants stay on trail. We mark with tiny flags that we pick up right after the event. Obviously, we're cupless. We don't allow, you're thrown out of the race if you throw any trash down. But we're just looking to, it was a successful event 2 years ago. We raised $1,500 that we were able to donate to CFPA, Connecticut Forest and Park Association. So we're wondering if we could get permission to use it again, and we'll take any questions.
Well, if everybody can see that, that's the trail map there, and there it is. So, Stacy, I think I recall, because I know parking is always an issue over there for the tight space on the roads and the lack of parking spaces, I should say. Do I recall that you ran some kind of a shuttle from?
We did, yeah. And we thought about this with COVID. Even with COVID, we would be able to fit comfortably enough shuttles going, enough or with fewer people in cars to get them there at the same time. It just, with that little of a space, it just made more sense, especially with public trail use. We want to make sure that everyone gets use of the trail that weekend, and we didn't want to hog it up. And it worked great. Yeah.
Okay. And actually, you brought up an excellent point. And anybody who's been out there, or if you've read the articles, that use of trails and parks and all outdoor recreation is up for the obvious reasons. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. Where would you be running the shuttles from?
We got permission from the Bellas landlord of that building. We're working on contacting them again, but I foresee it happening.
Okay. Good. That's probably something also just to let the police and the town know that that's what you'll be doing, running the shuttle from there.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I will mention also for the minutes, the CFPA, obviously, Ragged Mountain is one of their prime pieces in the area, but they're an excellent partner for the town, and they help us out a lot with our trails and the volunteer work. So it's a good cause. It's nice to hear that you'll be donating to them as well. Does anybody else have any questions?
No, well, this is Joe Mazza. I remember when we heard about it the last time. It was kind of new, right? And it was interesting that somebody's going to keep running well into the night. But from my memory, it went off without a hitch. There were no complaints about trash. They did a good job cleaning up and coordinating with the I think police and emergency rescue folks. So I think it's a great idea. I think it's a good use of the trails.
So that also just reminded me that were you able to alert the neighbors beforehand of what's going on for the increased parking on the side?
Yes, we didn't have any extra vehicles. Just me and the other race director at the time had our 2 vehicles there. So there was increased traffic, like people, and they were so great with it. And we've in the past 2 years, we've made good friends with them as an organization because we're always there. We hold Friday night runs and activities over the weekend sometimes. They're a nice couple. So they were very, it was very well received.
Good. That's great. Good to be good neighbors. Anybody have any questions? Further questions or comments? So, Maureen, I'm not sure if you were here. I think Mark was here at the last time around, but so it has to go from our commission to, I guess, to council and then back to planning for the, is it the 824 for the use of town lands?
Oh, maybe they might need that. I'll double check last year's procedure.
For sure, the town council.
Yeah. Probably it might just be town council, but I'll have to check on whether it needs to go back to PNC.
Okay.
And Stacy or Karen, stay in contact with me and we'll help you through the process, which you've done before. I did with the canceled event. So we'll see.
Well, in order to wrap this up formally, I think we need a motion here, correct?
Yeah. I'm just going to remind anyone who wants to speak to unmute themselves when they go to speak and then remute yourself when you're done so that we can keep the feedback to a minimum.
It's Rob Ramsey. I'll make the motion, Michael, to allow for them to proceed with their last man standing race, if that's the proper name for it.
Is that the proper name or Run Ragged? Run Ragged?
Run Ragged is the title of the race. It's a last man standing race, but Run Ragged is the title. Yep.
Okay, thank you, Rob. So a motion on the floor?
Joe Mazza, second.
Great, thank you. And if no further discussion, then all in favor of approving the Run Ragged event as presented by Stacy and Karen? Say the affirmative, or aye?
Aye.
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 Karen and Mary Catherine and Guy, you guys are muted, so we couldn't hear you.
Hi, can you hear me now? It's
Yes.
Guy. All right, yes.
Karen and I don't vote.
Yeah, I'm an alternative, so I
You're
don't
right, you're
vote.
right. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the box. You are correct.
That's okay. Yeah, we don't vote, but we're listening.
And all right, and you're welcome to add comments or questions too. So
Do we need them to vote this time?
1, 2, 3, 4, no. No, we had 4. So we had Tom, Joe, Robert, and myself.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry.
Thank you for that clarification. Karen and Stacy, thank you very much. And I hope May comes quickly and things are better. So
Thank
it'll be
you.
great. Good
Thank
luck.
you so much, everyone.
Make
for all
sure
you
you
do.
keep your contact information with Maureen.
Good
Okay,
luck.
thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Okay, thank you. So did everybody has a copy of the minutes from November? And if so, or if not, quickly, we need a motion to approve those as well. And there they are in all their glory. That was actually a pretty long meeting last week. Feel free to unmute and make a motion.
I'll make a
I'll
motion.
make the motion to accept.
Can you guys just identify yourselves when you speak so that we can get it properly on the record?
Rob Ramsey, I don't know if I talked over anybody, but I said I would make the motion to accept the minutes.
Cy Hoffman, I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor of accepting the minutes as written? Aye.
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 Thank you. 4. Okay, Marlo? Next item, and thank you, Maureen, for putting it on the screen, is the 2021 meeting schedule. If anybody sees any discrepancies or holiday dates there that shouldn't be there, let us know. Otherwise, we need a motion to accept these dates as well.
It's Guy. I can make a motion to accept the meeting dates for 2021.
Rob Ramsey, I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor of accepting the 2021 meeting dates? Aye.
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 So moved. Thank you. Okay, not much. Maureen, under old business, we have the 404 Berlin Turnpike, which we talked extensively about last time, and the Military Museum, not so much, but I think that was the month before, perhaps we talked about that.
So I'd like to give a little update if I can. At last week's Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, I asked for them to please vote to consider peer review for that project, for the planning and engineering review before the Planning and Zoning Commission. So we're in the process now. They did vote to do that. And now we're in the process of obtaining a consultant to do the review of that rather complex mixed-use development at for 2008 BT LLC, which is at the 404 Berlin Turnpike project. The mixed-use project that, you know, it has the wetlands, it has fill, it has environmental concerns, it has a proposed gas station, residential units, proposed hotel. There's a lot going on there. Traffic study, and you've seen the 800 or so pages of documents we've gotten. So, and for anyone, I think we did email a link to everyone. The updated information is all on that link. It's through the website and through OneDrive, I believe, is the server we're using to to host that because it's too big to email to people. But certainly if anyone wants to look at anything more thoroughly, and I'll, of course, entertain any comments anyone has if they have further at those documents. At the last meeting, it was asked that you guys reserve the ability to make further comments. So, but we don't know when it will go to P&Z yet. It's supposed to go until at least the January meeting, but that will depend on the consultant as well.
So, Maureen, this is Michael. So if I understand correctly, so you're retaining a consultant, and does that extend the time that it is technically a public meeting, an open meeting?
So they did not open the public hearing, and with anticipated scheduling at the January, I think it's the 21st in January meeting, but it may be beyond that, depending on the consultant. And January 21st is the next available P&Z meeting that it could possibly be at. But we should have, depending on the consultants, the peer reviews timeline as well.
So this is Michael again. So another follow-up question is, so this was accepted by Wetlands as proposed. So if in January, whenever that meeting is open for Planning Commission, if there's modifications to the plan, either through the developer or at the request of planning, does that change? Does that mean it has to go back to Wetlands for whatever revisions were made?
So Wetlands does give a site plan specific approval. So if the plan becomes a different plan, then they have to review it again to make sure it, and make another motion based on that plan. They cite the exact plan on their motions and approval.
Thank you. And nothing has changed since it was proposed?
No, I think it's just some responses to concerns and some, they had gotten, so when a plan goes to P&Z, as you guys know, because you're one of the people that it gets routed to, or one of the groups it gets routed to, the plans get routed to all departments. Those departments then may make comments. For instance, a typical one is the water control will say they must have a developer's agreement. And so typically an applicant responds and says, yes, we're well aware of that, and we will work with the town to do that. And so whatever the comments are, they respond to. They did, my understanding is they did respond to some of those comments. I didn't look thoroughly enough at the first set of plans because there wasn't enough time to know exactly what changed from the second submission, but I think it was technical information that came in. And that's in your packet. I think it's 4 on the OneDrive that you had. Let's see, it's called, let's see, I'm sorry, I'm looking 1 second, give me a minute. The 12/3/2020 meeting package 2. And it was the file again, put up on the website in that link.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions for Maureen regarding this project?
I will just let everybody know that, with these remote meetings and, for universally for commissions, basically at this point, is that all the meeting materials are on the website. So when we get new information, we're trying to get it up there as soon as it accumulates close enough to a meeting to make an actual file. We're trying not to put up the one-off pieces of paper that come in, letters or whatnot, until we have a group of them prior to the meeting, but then they go up on the website. And so you guys can follow those on the meeting events or on the commission pages. We're trying to put them in a couple of places, so it's intuitive to find, but ask, we'll lead you straight through them if you want to, if you have trouble finding anything.
Maureen, this is Tom. Just a couple of questions. Well, and I think you said that, but I just wanted to be solid as far as how I understand it. So you're saying the town is going to retain a consultant,
Mhm.
and that report from the consultant is likely to be available to the I think it's zoning commission for the meeting first.
We don't know the date it'll be ready yet because we haven't obtained the consultant yet.
Okay.
And that is, it's a legal and technical and legal assistance and or peer review, referred to by both names. And that was just decided Thursday night. So we're now in the process of obtaining one.
Okay, and then it would be after the consultant reported to the P&Z meeting that there would be possibly a public hearing?
Their report will hopefully be included at the opening of the public hearing. That's all subject to deadlines and whatnot as far as our timeline go and the applicant, and everybody coming to meet. We are, for most of us at this end of the hall, aside from, I think, one of the staff members, is doing what we do a peer review as well on this project. This is the first time most of us have hired a peer review, and starting the town engineer, myself, they've gone through, say, wetlands before, but not each of us. So we don't know the exact timeline right now.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else have any questions on this project? Going once, going twice? Guy?
No, I'm all set.
Okay. Thank you. So Maureen, Military Museum, anything further on that?
So at the November 19th meeting, 17th, 19th, of the Planning and Zoning Commission, 19th, the applicant did present at the meeting. However, it was an extremely short presentation with new material handed out. And then the commission, because we did not have the material in advance, asked to, or voted to postpone that hearing, and continue it further. For the December 3rd meeting, the applicant asked for a postponement. So there's a possibility it's postponed until the P&Z meeting on the 17th of December. But that may also be postponed further until January. I didn't get concrete word on that today from the applicant as to whether or not it would be. The new materials that came in on the at the November meeting are also posted on the website as coming in on that date. And actually, I'll show you guys exactly where they are. Oh, wait a minute. I did something wrong. Hold on. Okay. Let me see if I can get back to the website again. And show you. So this is the conservation page. And you'll see here, this is straight at the bottom of the Conservation Commission page. Straight at the bottom of the page is the Military Museum information. This, you can see what I'm showing you, right? This is my screen on?
No.
You're not seeing my screen right now? Oh,
No.
I have to fix that. Okay, hold on. Let me fix that. Get back to it. Okay. So now can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so we're at the Conservation Commission page. Down at the bottom of the page, the event description is today's meeting. And here's the Military Museum. This package 3 was the materials that were submitted on the 19th. So it's a new, almost a brochure type package. It's changed a little bit since the package he presented for the September 3rd meeting, which was when the substantive information, or September 17th, I'm sorry, was substantively presented to the Planning and Zoning Commission. So.
This is Mary Catherine. I have a question. Are those brochures or are copies of those brochures available to commission members?
We could potentially print them out. He only handed out a file copy and the file copy and the a copy for each commission member, but we can make copies. This is the new addendum that I'm sharing now, and it just shows changes, or rather more detail than he had in his original proposal. And the original brochure, I don't know if you all remember seeing the original proposal, but sure, if you, I'm gonna mark on this page that you'd like a copy, and then if for some reason it falls by the wayside, send me an email so that we can get that out.
Okay, thank you.
Scroll through kind of quickly, but I'll stop anywhere you guys want me to, but I'm just kind of showing you what the differences are, perhaps if some of you remember the original.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a paper copy. I mean, what you're showing there, if there's a way to share that via an email or something, that's fine. I just was wondering what this brochure looked like, so.
Okay, so that's what I'm showing you right now.
Yeah,
This is
right.
available on the website. You can get it right from that link.
Oh, we can, okay.
And that link was emailed to all of you.
Oh, okay, thanks.
It should have been anyway. I think it was in the email of your meeting
Yeah,
material.
Mary Kay, if you don't have that email, let me know and I can send it to you.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll look. Thanks.
But it's on it is on the Planning and Zoning Commission page, as well as the Conservation Commission page
Okay.
on the town website. And I'll go back to that in 1 minute just so you can see.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm still not great at navigating these pages, so I apologize. Thank you.
So here, if you're on the Town of Berlin website, up at the top, you'll get to the website. You then can go to Government,
Mm-hmm.
the Conservation Commission,
Yeah.
is what I'm on right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's right there. Okay, great. Thanks.
on the Conservation Commission is down at the bottom. We tried to group them so that people could intuitively follow them, but it is not the easiest navigation because it is multiple clicks. So I'm glad to walk anybody through it if they're on the, if you're on your computer and you want to call us, either Adam and I could walk you right through it. Yeah. And like I said, this is on for 66 pages, so I'm not going to scroll through the whole thing right now, but
Okay. Seems like a lot more information than what was previous.
yeah, we asked for quite a bit more additional information and better plans. The reason he asked on the 3rd was because he was, in his request, he stated he was engaging with council so that for his presentations, etc., going through the process.
Okay. Anybody have any questions regarding this project for Maureen at this early stage? Or
Well, I just want to clarify, it is an open public hearing with the Planning and Zoning Commission, and we don't know whether it's going through whether it will be continued on the 17th or postponed. I haven't gotten that confirmation from him yet, and the applicant, may have to make that confirmation. The Planning and Zoning Commission can also add days as well.
Thank
I'm
you.
hoping by the time the agenda is posted, it's clear.
All right. Anybody, anything on this one? Okay. So moving right along. Maureen, anything on the garden that we need to be aware of?
No, I don't have anything on that.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
I will add on another note that the signs that were voted on last month were ordered. Steve Wood took care of that.
Great. Thank you.
Mhm.
That was for the Beckley
Yeah.
Road, the quarry area, right?
Yes.
Thank you for that update. All right. We're almost there. Anybody have any questions or comments that they want to bring up before we adjourn?
This is Mary Catherine. I wanted to know if there's any way that anything can be done to improve the access to what I still call the Chakowski property, right on the Chamberlain Highway. With the recent rains, there was a pond and the access in, they have like planks or something that you can try to walk a skinny path to get over where it's very, very wet. I don't know if there's any way that we'd be allowed to improve that in some way, because it was really awful. I mean, even now, a couple of days later, I've been up and down the Chamberlain Highway for various reasons and looking at it, and it must be still very, very muddy. So I just was throwing that out there as a question.
Well, we don't have our resident hiker expert with us, Carl, but I seem to recall some conversations in the past, and I would have to defer to Jim Mahoney and Carl on this and maybe Steve Wood too. I don't know how the specific area or how wet it always is, but I know in the past we've had, Eagle Scout projects or the CFPA, as I mentioned earlier. If it's a viable project that sometimes we can, rustle up volunteers and build a more permanent walkway through wet areas. Taking into consideration that we would, need wetlands approval as well.
And I wasn't walking this, I was actually driving by, and it's really right at the initial access into the property that they have these, like really
Planks.
just like planks, very narrow planks too. So for some people, they wouldn't even want to, walk those. And then of course there was a pond that temporarily was created because of the heavy rains, but I assume that eventually, dries up. But it just occurred to me that if there was some way to improve the initial access, I'm assuming that the rest of the property is pretty nice. I can't say I've hiked it, so we'd have to defer to Carl, or whatever on that. But I happened to see it and say, gee, that doesn't really work. But of course, other people were at the other property up the road, which again, I call the orchard because I can never remember the names of it. And there were a lot of cars, there were quite a few cars there, and people were, actually, even during the rain, there were some cars there. I was amazed. But people were out there walking in the rain the other day. So maybe we could make that other property a little bit more accessible.
So this is the smaller area by the Southington Road intersection there?
Yes, this is
Okay.
where I remember when whoever the former owner was had a little blueberry patch there. And, that old house is on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the private driveway that's to the left. But the walk-in is really kind of impassable when it's wet, totally. So.
Maureen, maybe if you can remember your next conversation with Steve Wood, if he may have put those planks there, I don't know, but and again, the rain we've had has been exceptional too, so it's kind of understandable that it's wet, and that may be the best solution. I have no idea, but if it's something you can just mention to him.
Yeah, and I'll ask Jim too, because I talk to Jim Mahoney just about every day, so he'll know.
Okay. He'll know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, and if there was an approval process in which to put up the planks in the first place, because they've been there a long time, those planks. I drive by there every day, and I've noticed the planks there as well, and they've been there a good long time. So, there may have been some process to go through to get them at that access point. I'll find out. Jim will be on vacation this week, so I won't be able to check with him for at least another week.
Yeah, this is Guy. I was out there when they had the opening ceremony with the commissioner from DEEP and everything, and it was wet back then. They had the planks up, and there's even an area that gets pretty wet after the planks stop. And I took a hike up there, a small group of us with the commissioner and some other people. I don't know if there was ever really an official plan for extending that, or how they were going to really deal with that, but it's wet during a lot of the year.
Yeah, it's definitely a low spot.
Yeah.
This is Karen.
Definitely.
I just have a question. Karen Pinero, have there been complaints about the access? The planks, I drove by and saw it too, and I thought it was, wow, at least it can be dry. So have there been complaints about it?
I have not gotten.
I'm aware of. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if Maureen didn't have any, I have not heard of any complaints. No, but I know that it's been an issue, and Guy is right. It's just a low spot, and it's wet. So, but Jim would know. Jim would know the history and what was considered and what was not able to be done in the past. So, it's worth asking. Thank you, Mary Kate. Anybody else have any questions or comments?
I do have one more update I forgot about when we were talking about the military experience. That I got an email from Claire Kane just this morning, yesterday morning, an update with regard to the relocation of the Metacomet Trail from the Carabetta property. That's where the military museum experience is proposed to be, and they have relocated that onto the Meriden property on the Meriden Berlin town line. The new route is open and hikeable. The old route has been deblazed and blocked, and they still have to update the trail database, but otherwise they're all done. So that's been relocated to public land, which is one of their goals, is to try to relocate where possible to public land from private property.
Thank you for that update. That's pretty quick action there too.
Yeah, they had teams going out really quickly. It was cool to work with them and find out what how quickly they can.
Well, when it works, it works. Anybody else have any questions or comments?
I've got one more comment. This is Guy. Just for Maureen, with the reports and everything that's been going up on the website, works out very well. That I found, especially like for this month, you could just go in, take a look, and they're long documents and everything, and it's so much easier than trying to pass them along by email or some other method, so that a lot of the information is right there for you, and readily accessible. So it's very convenient.
Thank you for that. We appreciate that because we have been trying to make it more and more accessible, and the whole town hall is learning the new technology in which to have it happen. Especially in the case of those two applications where they were too big to email. So we had to go through links to get them up there. So I appreciate that. Thank you. And I will share that with other staff.
Okay, we have a motion for adjournment?
Rob Ramsey, motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Rob.
I'm Heisler. I second that motion.
All in favor of adjournment? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Maureen. Yeah, after the echoes, I think we're good. We figured it out. So everybody, stay healthy and have a good holiday season, and it'll be the new year before we know it. So
okay,
we'll
Thanks.
meet again.
Right.
Take care.
All right.
Merry
Healthy.
Christmas, everyone.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.
Happy New Year.
Thank you, Marlo.